Aloha. Hi, everybody. Oh, we got the monitors. Good. High tech. Right?
All right.
All right. The Department of Labor and Industrial Relations evaluates the balance of the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund before December 31st every year. This is in order to make a determination as to what the rate will be for employers for unemployment taxes for the following year. So when you come out of or are in the middle of a recession and a tough fiscal situation, it's compounded, of course, by the prospect of having to deal with large numbers of unemployed people and trying to keep the economy afloat at the same time. So about 3 years ago, as this administration was underway, the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund went bankrupt. We know what's happening on the mainland. We know what counties and cities and even states are facing in terms of unfunded liabilities and bankruptcy. Well, the Unemployment Compensation Fund was bankrupt for all intents and purposes in December 2010. But as a result of the hard choices and the tough decisions that were made throughout the state, in both the public and the private sectors, and the prudent stewardship, I believe, of the conduct of this administration, the fund balance is currently at more than $300 million. This recovery means that in 2014, the business community will be saving $130 million at a minimum in taxes due to the replenishment of the trust fund. Employers will see an average of $300 per employee less in terms of obligation. The average tax rate reduction will be more than a third, maybe as much as 35%. Director Takamine is here today to explain some of the details, to introduce the team that helped put this together. We're very, very pleased that business is represented here, both from and including the agricultural section of our economy, because unemployment compensation and unemployment trust fund affects everybody. We are seeing our unemployment numbers go down. The current state rate is at 4.4%, including all the islands, where even some of the islands that have traditionally had a higher unemployment rate, even a chronic unemployment rate, we still are down to 4.4%. On the island of Oahu, at the present time, where much of the economic activity is taking place, the rate is actually 4.2%. In August of this year earlier, it was as low as 3.8. So this fluctuation is around the 4% level, and compared to the national average, which is still over 7%, was much higher, of course, in the middle of the recession in 2010. So we're considerably below that, and I found very interesting, if you'll indulge me just a moment, you'll see, and Dwight will bring up the graphs that will show the startling change that's taken place over 3 years, the very welcome change that's taken place over 3 years. But I had at one point, and I think I left it in the other room, but I can remember close enough. Wait, maybe I have it right here. No, I thought I had the list of the other states, but there's only, yeah. This I'm very, very proud of, our 4.4%. Let me give you a comparison to the other 50 states. The only states that are ahead of us right now is North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. And if you know anything about those states at the moment, they're swimming in oil and natural gas. The revenues that are coming in there, the unemployment rate is that low because of they're mineral-rich states with very high prices for those extractive minerals. So we're number 4 out of the 50 states, number 4, with only the mineral-rich states ahead of us in terms of the unemployment rate. So that's very good news for business all the way around in Hawaii. It means we're going to have funds in the trust fund and be able to have a considerable reduction for businesses. What my hope is that this will translate into continuing confidence in the economy. I can assure everyone the state will make prudent investments. We're going to be supporting business as we did just yesterday at the International Airport in Honolulu with Johnson Controls. We're in public-private partnerships there for energy conservation that's going to have a $500 million positive return to the state over the next 20 years. These are the kind of projects, these are the kinds of partnerships that we believe that the state and private business can accommodate with one another in a way that will have a very positive benefit in terms of a low unemployment rate and the ability for us to continue to have a sufficient reserve in the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund that does not require continued high contributions from our employers. And with that, I'd like to invite Director Takamine to come up, introduce his terrific team, and maybe some of the other individuals that are representing business interests in the state today, and to perhaps explain in a little more detail what the formula is and how it works in terms of arriving at this very good news. Dwight?
Thank you, Governor. Actually, maybe I'll do the explaining part first and then make a few introductions. The governor hit all of the highlights, all of the important points. And I thought I'd maybe take a couple minutes just to explain some of the dynamics, behind the governor's announcement this afternoon.
I'll be your human point.
Okay, and I guess you can take a look. Now, this is a graph that kind of depicts
where we were.
That's right. It's on the left-hand side, it indicates by hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, balance in the trust fund. And of course, it's the timeline by years, on the bottom. And it's interesting because the dotted line that the governor was following is the balance in our UI trust fund. So when he mentioned that in 2010, I think we need to stay back on that other one. Oh, I know. This was touch, I think. Shall we go back? Yeah.
Sorry, I touched it.
No problem. Let's see.
I thought I was John King. No.
Okay, there we go. So you can see that. Very good. Yeah, you can see that.
Slightly smarter than a 5th grader.
Okay, so that in 2010 is when the trust fund did go bankrupt. Okay, now
Better speak in the mic so that they can catch it.
Sure. Okay. So the UI Trust Fund for the state of Hawaii went bankrupt in December of 2010. Actually, as the governor indicated.
Closer, you can see the line actually went below the red line. Whoops!
Yeah.
I hit it again. Did I hit them both then?
Okay. Here we go. We got it back. Okay. So when the trust fund goes bankrupt, that doesn't mean we don't pay UI benefits because that legal obligation continues. It forces us to take out loans from the federal government. So that's what we had to do. And when you see what happens in 2011, 2012, and then 2013, this is the dynamic the governor was talking about, okay? When you talk about tough decisions that help, to change things, that help give greater confidence, that helps our economy to further the recovery, this is one of the things that is part of the outcome, of all of that. And so there, the dotted line will give you the balance. Now, the black line you see, the heavy, bold black line, is what is considered adequacy. In other words, under the law, we need to keep enough money in our UI trust fund so that we can pay out benefits for a year, okay? And so there's a formula for determining that. I guess the critical thing is, as you see in 2013, as the two lines begin to get closer and closer together, this is a good sign. Because as adequacy, is restored in the UI trust fund, it will trigger lower assessment rates. Under the law, we have 8 schedules from A to H. H being the highest amount of assessments placed on employers, A the lowest amount. And what happened was the improvement you see in the past 3 years allowed the change to trigger from G, Schedule G, down to Schedule E. So it was 2 schedules down. And when the governor talks about $130 million in savings to the employers who contribute to the UI trust fund, that is how it happens. Okay? And so you see that sort of depicted on this visual. Now, we had a second one, just to give you an idea, because this is basically how the unemployment rate in the state of Hawaii has gone. And you see, of course, us at 2013, the most recent entry is 4.4%. I believe there was an article in today's Star advertised about that on the far right, okay? And again, trends probably are important, because should the trend continue, should our economy stay on the road to recovery, this will mean hopefully even lower rates of unemployment. If that occurs, there will be less outflow from the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund, allowing it to build up even to higher levels and hopefully trigger even lower schedules, so that perhaps if all goes well, then a similar announcement could be made next year around this time.
Yeah, our goal is to continue our stimulus program. The Federal, many of you in this room know I've been talking about what the Federal Reserve is doing in terms of trying to guide interest rates and control inflation nationally. There was an announcement yesterday, anticipated by us, of course, that there would be a gradual easing off of the stimulus program, the easing program that in bond purchases that the Federal Reserve is now engaged in. But it's going to be measured as it should be, and I was gratified to see that the Wall Street investors reacted very positively to it. They understand completely what's involved here. We're going to continue to control inflation, and in the process be able to have low interest rates that enable the state to continue to put out infrastructure investments in the state of Hawaii, such as at the airports, in the harbors, on the highways, the rebuilding, for example, of the H1 freeway. Those of you who are moving slowly on the H1 now understand that we're not repaving it, we're rebuilding it. And that will, again, have visible dividends on that investment in time to come. So we're going to keep all that up. We intend to make sure that we keep the rate at around 4%, and of course lower if we can get it. There will be a level at which we simply won't be going lower. There are other factors that begin to play in, as opposed to confidence in the economy or ordinary investment between state, federal, county, and private interests. But we feel very, very strongly that the business community can have confidence that the fiscal policies of this administration are such that it can look forward to continued good news on the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund front in terms of what their obligations might be. And certainly compared to other states and localities, I think that we're in a much more advantageous position than some other folks are elsewhere. So we couldn't be more pleased. Dwight, do you want to introduce some of the folks that are here and some of the folks in the department that have been instrumental in working on this issue?
I guess, from the get-go, the governor has focused on unemployment as one means of actually improving the quality of life, for people, from our state. And he also has reminded me that, with any good thing, it's always teamwork. So I certainly wanted to acknowledge the presence. We have 2 members of the House of Representatives, and certainly we appreciate the support we've received in trying to work together. And Carl Rhodes was the representative who was the previous chair of the Labor Committee in the House, and Representative Hashem is the current vice chair of the House Labor Committee. So again, thank you both for joining us today. And also, I wanted to acknowledge some of the staff from the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, because the governor mentioned stewardship. It is a team effort, but it is making sure we do things smart, make sure we don't lose sight of our target and who we're trying to benefit. And I just wanted to, we have some of our key, management team people here, and I just wanted to introduce first the head of our unemployment insurance division. She's the administrator, and she's been there a long time, providing a lot of strong leadership, and that's Linda Uesato. She's joined today by her right arms, I guess. Anne is back there. I guess Tanya is also here, and also from our research and stats division, we have let's see, Ellie Yoshida is here, and Vicky Lau, and Janet Kaya. Yeah, okay. And did I miss anybody?
It's the female musketeers.
Women power in the Department of Labor. And I think, while we talk about teamwork, we cannot forget that the businesses, is the backbone of the economy. And so, given that, I think, the businesses who are here, who work so hard and invest so much. And as the governor indicated, it's kind of nice, because I know agriculture has been a key theme. We have some of the leaders from our ag community here, and I think Shin Ho, Dean Okimoro. We have Wayne Ogasawara. Let's see, is Alvin Law here too? Okay, but thank you for taking the time to join us. Certainly, the business leaders in our business community, right, led by the chamber, and we have some legal leaders over here too. So certainly, thank you everybody for joining, taking the time to join us this afternoon.
Okay, any questions or observations we can comment on? Happy to do so.
I have a question for the director.
Sure.
As you're aware, there was a bill in the last legislature that would have prevented the schedule from moving from G to F, and that bill was defeated. Do you think in hindsight that was the right move?
Well, I think maybe we let the numbers speak for themselves. So I think the graph is probably the best reflection of what resulted based on what did or did not occur. And, ultimately all of those factors led to a savings of $130 million.
Yeah. You can certainly understand the emotions involved in it. You can understand the motivation in hoping to have legislation address a lot of crises like that. But you can't command the economy by legislation. You can influence it, and you certainly can and perhaps enhance it. But we felt very, very strongly that, and do feel very, very strongly that we're on the right path. And I think the business folks agree as well, that the approach that the administration is taking in terms of fiscal responsibility are the kind of moves that are beneficial all the way around. So we were confident that we were on the right track in terms of implementing lower schedules as the economy improved and unemployment rates went down, employment rates went up, and numbers went up. Now, because of the formulas for adjusting and so on, the rates don't necessarily always put the human dimension on it. We've increased construction jobs, for example, by the thousands, 1,500 plus in a given time. The numbers have gone up in the thousands in terms of people employed. So that is, we think, a very telling factor in terms of business confidence. And if we can keep on the same path, we believe that the schedules, by the nature of the progress, will continue to decline. That's certainly going to be our goal, and that's going to be our emphasis. Let me conclude by saying then, I appreciate the patience and the courtesy that's been extended to us in this regard. The legislature, as represented here today in the House, and the business community, Dean, Sherry, and others that are here, understood what we were trying to do, were patient, and explained to their membership what it is that we thought could be accomplished. It takes time, obviously, and in any given month, at any given period of time when a business has to come up with those dollars for unemployment compensation trust fund, it's not easy to necessarily swallow promises or hopes even, but they did. When I asked people for everyone to put their paddle in the water and all pull hard and pull deep and pull together, that included the business community, and the business community responded on this level. And the payout and the payoff on that trust and on that patience is this announcement today. And so I'm hoping for and asking for the continued cooperation and coordination with the business community in the certainty that if we do continue to work together, we're going to keep the good news coming. Thank you very much.
Governor, maybe some pictures?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Would you guys like to come up and take
Yeah.
some pictures? We ought to
Let's
show
see.
graphs or something.
Do we have a director here? Maybe the legislators and.
Well, we don't have anything to show, though. No proclamations, right? I have my little graph.